Hello, hello. Yaat shik ado Diné nanisht education shle ado Tsétsêhéstâhese ashin hedishchedo bilagana dashinale akwit ego naukadi and Diné asa shle. I'm really, really happy to be here today. I'm really, really honored that each of you would take the time to let me share some of the beautiful things about Diné culture that are very related to this entire conversation about how we can be more connected to the spirit of collaboration and the spirit of cooperation. Indigenous peoples, as you know, of what I call Turtle Island, other people call it the United States or North America, but we call this continent Turtle Island. Um, for well, we know we've been here hundreds of thousands of years, but archaeology can prove so far that we've been here for tens of thousands of years. Specifically, they just found footprints in New Mexico that are 23,000 years old. But we've been here a long, long time, and we've had a lot of time to learn, actually through trial and error, why peace is so important and why we're so much better off when we collaborate. So Diné people are no exception. We went through a lot of trials, a lot of fires to get to the point where we understand that peace is the better option of the two. And one of the outgrowths of that is a very deep respect for women. So when I spoke my language when I first started, I was naming all of my clans, which essentially are the clans of my four grandparents. And the first clan that I start with is my matrilineal clan. So my mother's mother and what her clan is and was. And that would be the Tsétsêhéstâhese clan. So that is, even though I have four clans, I keep track of four of them. Technically, that one is who I am. That is what I am. And we use the verb nishle to say that I am that. And so, in that sense, we get our last names not from our fathers, but from our mothers. And so, when we get our last name from our mothers, we become really connected to the matrilineal history and or herstory, and we really keep track of that. Whereas the patrilineal line can get lost within a couple generations. You can kind of forget who your great 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 grandpa's on your patrilineal side, what his clan was, but you really know that your mother's 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 were all Nanisht Ejitachitni, and that is how that clan was born. Was that somewhere way back there, one of your foremothers created that clan and created that lineage, and so that's just one way that we honor women. Another big way that we honor women is we have a womanhood ceremony that's 4 days long. The manhood ceremony is 1 day long, and that's not to say the manhood ceremony isn't as important. It's equally important. It's just to say that the womanhood ceremony is very important to our people. It is very elaborate. It is very involved. It takes a lot of work and a lot of effort on behalf of the community to honor the birth of this young woman and to help her to create to help create the conditions in which she understands that she is celebrated, she is loved, that she is cared for by the people, and that we are going to be there for her for the rest of her life. And I can get into the details of that ceremony just a little bit. I can't go too deep because some information is best learned in person, ceremonial information. But what I will say is that the reason why honoring women is so important and is so related to collaboration and to synergistic societies is because the feminine gives life, just plain and simple. And that is a very sacred thing. And she bears life and she births life and she cares for life. The men also help a lot too. And the men and the women are equal. in Diné culture, there's none of this sort of gender Olympics of like, well, men are better, or no, women are better. We are complementary, and we need each other, and we cannot exist apart from each other. And so, just like the stars in the sky, the Big Dipper, the Pleiades constellation is the male constellation, and Cassiopeia is the female constellation. And we notice those two constellations revolve around the North Star together. And so that's how we see the masculine and the feminine, as these two constellations that work together to create harmony in the sky and on Earth. And so these things are 100% equal, and they are needed by our children to be in collaboration with one another. And so the collaboration between the masculine and the feminine is very strong within our cultures. And part of that collaboration, if you talk to Diné men, I know we're also known as Navajo. If you talk to Diné men, they will say, they have no qualms honoring women. Like my dear friend Roberto, not Lewis, he's a fantastic brother. He and all of his contemporaries, if they will say things like this routinely, they'll say, well, we have to ask the clan mothers what to do. Because yes, I'm a leader in the community, and I build hogans and I build ceremonial structures, and I'm a strong, capable man. And I have to consult my clan mothers to get guidance from them, to get direction from them, the same way one would consult their grandmother as a young man, and listen to her, and really take stock of what she's saying and really appreciate her. That is very, very common among Diné men, and they're not only not threatened by women, they're overjoyed by women. They're nourished by women. They're so excited to be with women, and they're so appreciative when women are around them, and they get to listen to them. And it's not just the clan mothers, it's even the young women who are the leaders and the activists and the dreamers and the visionaries. Roberto loves to honor them. And I think Roberto is a really good example of a Diné man. And there's thousands of them throughout our reservation, who just really, they just enjoy working with women and seeing how women can help guide them in what to do. And they have no problem taking direction from women. In fact, traditionally, Diné women are leaders, and it's really not a big deal. Nobody bats an eye. It's not scary, or, in Western culture, I noticed it causes this whole stir in the pot, and we have to sit down and talk about it and create DEI things about it. And it's like, in Diné culture, it's just a given that the women are here, that the women are leaders, that the women are our friends, and like, it's okay to let them lead. Another thing within Diné culture is that divorce. Europeans were very shocked when they saw this, but in our culture, we also have marriage, and we also have what you might call divorce. And in Diné culture, it's understood. It is simply understood by all men, all women, all non-gender conforming people, that if a woman is done with a marriage, she puts his saddle by the door, his horse saddle. That's the old metaphor for, okay, I'm done. You need to leave now. And this is respected within within Diné culture, believe it or not. If a woman is done, she's done. And that's just how it is. And so I'm not saying that women should overpower men by any means. I'm saying that this is how deeply Diné people respect women, that they afford her all kinds of rights and responsibilities. And the womanhood ceremony is a deeply involved community endeavor to get people to connect to the value of women and the value of young women. And you have your womanhood ceremony when you get your first menstruation. And so when I was 14, I got my first menstruation. I got it a little bit late. My mom appreciates that because it gave her more time to prepare for the ceremony. But I got my first blood, and lo and behold, everyone got all excited and, oh my God, we have to stop everything. And my community came for me for 4 days, and we stopped everything. And they trained me hard. I mean, I had to run every day. I had to grind corn every day. I created a massive corn cake that was, used to feed the people. And they taught me my power to give life to a nation. And they taught me how to be humble, how to be gentle, how to be, like they said, you don't need to be a great woman. You just need to be a decent woman, a humble woman, and be a good woman. And that was such a huge teaching, And they told me all kinds of beautiful things. And on the last day, they sang all night. They sing all night long to celebrate this birth of a new woman. And that song is very much a gift to the people and to the young woman and the rest of her life. And after singing all night on the fourth day, I made my final run, which was my run to the east. And I ran and ran and ran and ran and ran all the way back. Because each time you run a little bit further. And your people are teaching you tenacity. Your people are teaching you how to improve, how to grow. And those prayers that were set down from my life when I was 14, I'm sure had an incredible impact, because now I have my PhD. I'm 13 years sober, which is a whole other story of how I got sober and how my people are in a very intense drug war right now of the colony and colonization drugging our communities, and the struggles we have to get out of these addictions. But and I have just a beautiful life, and I overcame so much adversity just to be sitting here today. I mean, every kind of abuse you can imagine. But I think that ceremony was just a slice of time where I felt the true message of my ancestors, which is that you matter as a woman, and your power and your peace matter, and your ability to serve your people matters. And so in that sense, I had a really, really good time in my ceremony. And I think that all of this protection of women, unfortunately, for much of Western society, is hard to even imagine. But we need to get there. And it was through thousands of years of trial and error that my ancestors learned that honoring women and uplifting women is the smartest thing we can do for longevity's sake, for the sake of the health of our communities. Because when the women are healed, the world will heal. This is what my elders tell me. And because the women are such a bedrock, such a foundation of life, and it behooves the masculine, and it strengthens the masculine, and it overjoys the masculine when the feminine is healthy and happy and protected and safe. And that's our deepest, highest calling as Homo sapiens, is for the masculine and the feminine to see one another and to look each other in the eyes with humility and gratitude, and to honor each other. And that is, according to our cultures, the foundation of peace. And that is how we become progenitors of peace. And the last thing I'll say before I end is that the Lakota have a similar teaching. The Lakota people, they have the sacred pipe, and the stone part of the pipe represents the feminine, and the wooden part of the pipe represents the masculine. And this was given to them by a prophet, you could say, named White Buffalo Calf Woman, many generations ago, countless generations ago. And she said, and the people were going through famine, they're going through discord, there was upheavals, social upheavals, economic upheavals. I mean, it was just a mess, apparently, according to the stories. And when she came, she gave them this pipe, and she said, this is how you're going to heal. the connection between the masculine and the feminine, if you can fix that, you can fix everything. And I thought that's very interesting. And it might be hard for us to wrap our heads around right now, but I really trust these things. That why would, of all the things she could have given us, would she have given us this message that the nexus points between the masculine and the feminine must be healed for peace and health and well-being to occur among the nation. But I think that's true. I think it was true then, and it's true for us today, that the more we can honor women and normalize that within our societies and even institutionalize it through our rites of passage and our ceremonies, etc., the more healthy and happy we will all be. So I know that's a hard mandate or challenge for me to set before us, because we live in a highly a world that is not that, let's just say. But I don't think that means we should stop fighting for it. I think we should all continue to fight for it every day, because whether it takes 5 generations or 15 generations, this is something we're going to have to figure out together. And so why not start now? So thank you all for your time, and I hope you all have a very wonderful day. And again, I just so appreciate Dr. Riane Eisler for everything that you do, and for allowing me to be here with you all today. It's a huge honor. So talk to you soon. Thank you. Hagone.